we're kicking off with SmackDown, as it was on last week's show that the Street Profits confirmed their heel turn, donning some suits and aligning themselves with Bobby Lashley. During this week's show, the three men were seen in a backstage segment, and the Almighty spoke of the three of them taking championships from others. Lashley even went on to say that SmackDown needs some new blood to run the show, which many took as a nod to a possible feud with the Bloodline. There was a time when Roman Reigns and his allies were unstoppable, but if this feud happened, it'd be Lashley and the Profits that would have the in-ring numbers advantage against Reigns and Solo Sikoa. Lashley's talk of championship gold could also put this new faction at odds with the LWO, considering that Rey Mysterio won the US gold on SmackDown, a title Lashley has held on 3 occasions. Then there's always the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships, and while Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are unable to defend their titles at this time due to KO's injury, this week's segment may be a nod to an eventual title match. Whatever the case may be, WWE clearly has plans for the Street Profits and Lashley, and what would you like to see next for this budding faction? Sound off in the comments. At SummerSlam, Brock Lesnar lost to Cody Rhodes in the second match of the night, and the two shared a sign of respect after the bout. It was reported after the show that Lesnar's next match would be in October at Fastlane, but that won't be the case. An update noted that Lesnar isn't expected to compete at all for the rest of this year, so when exactly can fans expect his return to the ring? In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported that the plan is for him to return on the television building up to the Royal Rumble, and from there, going to WrestleMania. There's no word on what Lesnar will be doing at the Rumble, but as we've seen in recent years, the Royal Rumble match can often be an indication as to Lesnar's WrestleMania plans. It's been rumored for some time that Brock has his eye on retiring, so WrestleMania 40 could be the Beast's final showcase of the Immortals. And what would you like to see for Lesnar when he returns to TV next year? In a matter of weeks, AEW will host its biggest ever event, All In, from Wembley Stadium in London, England. The show already has a stacked card with MJF, the Young Bucks, and Sting all confirmed for matches, but one name yet to be announced is Kenny Omega. As one of AEW's very top stars, it's strange that no match has been confirmed for the cleaner, and contrary to what many first thought, Will Ospreay won't be his dance partner in London. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Meltzer stated that the current plan is for Omega to face Konosuke Takeshita in a story that will naturally involve Don Callis. Callis will certainly be busy in London, as it's been reported that he will also play a role in Chris Jericho's match with Will Ospreay, though that bout is yet to be made official. All In will arguably be the most important night in AEW's history, so it's right for Omega to be involved. And are you excited at the prospect of a match with Takeshita? Or would you rather see the cleaner face somebody else? Back to WWE, and recently it was reported that Sonya Deville has suffered an ACL tear, an injury that will keep the Women's Tag Team Champion out for months. Despite her injury, WWE have yet to officially strip Deville and Chelsea Green of the Women's Tag Team titles, leaving many to question as to what exactly is going to happen with these titles. When Ringside News asked around their sources, and WWE Creative revealed that a decision has been made regarding the tag team titles, but opted not to reveal what the plan is. WWE may be hesitant to strip Green of the titles, given that the company had been hoping for a lengthy, scandal-free reign for her and Deville after multiple reigns have ended with the champs being stripped of the gold. Obviously, that won't be the case this time. And on After the Bell, Green, in character, said that she's contacted her legal team to stop WWE from taking the titles from her. Green has also said that she plans on conducting auditions to determine her next tag team partner, but it's unclear if this was just her speaking in character or something that WWE is actually considering. All we know is that a decision has been made regarding Deville's unfortunate injury, but as to when the decision will be announced remains to be seen. It was on the Raw after WrestleMania 38 that fans were introduced to Ezekiel, the alleged brother of Elias, who proved to be a thorn in the side of Kevin Owens. While the Ezekiel character was written off of TV months ago, fans haven't seen Elias do anything at all recently, and the latest update isn't good for fans of the Drifter. A source in Creative told Ringside News that Elias is never ever mentioned in meetings, and for that matter, neither is the Ezekiel character. The source added that nobody feels it is worth bringing Elias up in meetings, and stated that that brother angle killed his career. In the recent draft, Elias was part of the draft pool, but was not selected by either side, hardly a good sign for the former 24/7 champion who was once a regular on TV. Elias may still be with WWE, but his future with the company doesn't look bright, and between these comments and reports of releases late this year, his time as a superstar may indeed be numbered. Now, it's been close to 2 months since AEW launched their third weekly wrestling show, Collision, and since then, the show has been centered around CM Punk. When Collision was announced, many saw it as nothing other than an opportunity for AEW to keep Punk and his numerous enemies separate, but what is it like being at a Collision taping? Speaking on his Grilling JR podcast, Jim Ross said that Collision is far calmer behind the scenes than at Dynamite, saying there's less crew, less talent, and less people on the whole. Ross added that the show has a different atmosphere and said that Punk played a pivotal role with Tony Khan to put the roster together for Collision. JR was part of the first episode of Collision, despite suffering a nasty fall mere hours before the show, and would take weeks out to recover before making a return. Collision doesn't have any exclusive titles, though CM Punk has dubbed himself the real AEW World Champion. And has your opinion on Collision changed over the past few months? Let us know in the comments. And we're ending with more from SmackDown, as the excitement didn't stop in Calgary after this week's show went off the air. After the main event segment with the Bloodline, 2 dark matches took place, with the first seeing the Street Profits going up against the Brawling Brutes. Next up was a match between Raw talent as Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley put her gold on the line against Calgary's very own Natalya. Despite the home field advantage, Natalya was unable to capture the title, and Ripley gave a scathing post-match promo before exiting. Natalya would cut a promo of her own, thanking the fans for coming out and for their support, so the crowd in Calgary certainly got their money's worth with this week's episode of SmackDown.